we need to talk about the elephant in the room. And that elephant is Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. And anyone that has been actively following the series, if you've been watching the episodes, then you're probably already well aware of some of the issues that's going on. But if you are not, I'm going to enlighten you. I'm going to let you in on something that's been going on, and it's a trend that's been happening a lot with a lot of anime as of late, and it's getting more and more noticeable as time goes on. And I want to talk about this subject because I do think that bringing awareness to this subject is very important. So, basically, Zom 100, this is the trailer, and I feel like when you think of the theme of, like, what this trailer represents, a guy that, enters into, his job that he's been working for a very long time, he's very happy, he's very excited, but then as time goes on, he realizes basically the job isn't what he thought it was. It's a very depressing job that makes him feel like a zombie, and then when the world breaks down and all that, and it becomes like a zombie apocalypse, he finds his happiness again. I feel like just the very beginning of the story of Zom 100, like when it first aired, really did represent this. Like, there was a lot of love, care, attention to detail, and there was definitely passion here that anyone that was working on this project, Zom 100, went in kind of like our main male character. But then, as the episodes continuously came out, the overall work structure and the production just started to really tear and creep in on the staff, and we have led to the events where we're currently at with the show. And so, what is actually going on with the show, okay? So, Zom 100 is being animated by Bug Films, and as you can see, they're a very new studio. You can clearly see this is the only anime they've worked on, and if you take a peek on the left side here, you can see that they were established in 2021. A very new company that is working on anime. You can see if you scroll through here, this is the only thing that they've worked on. Now, to be fair, there could be other projects they've worked on maybe as a support studio that's just not listed here, but in terms of stuff that they have taken on their own hands to work on, Zom 100 apparently is the only thing they've worked on. But once again, they could have had animators helping with other projects over the years, who really knows? I don't know anything about that. But it's obviously a relatively new company. It's a company that is getting its foot in the door and trying to make a name for itself. And I think anyone that obviously has watched Zom 100 can all definitely agree that it is a good-looking series. It's a great series, it's very fun, it's beautiful, it's got great characters, a great setting, it's really good. Like, it is legitimately a good anime. Even to where it's at right now in the current episodes, it's a legitimately good show. But once again, that doesn't change the facts of what's been creeping up underneath everything, like the zombie apocalypse tearing at everything. And that is the fact that it has had a very rocky production. Anyone that has obviously been keeping up with this series is very well aware of the continuous delays that the main official Twitter account has been talking about. For instance, like the latest episodes were delayed because of like a sports event, but also production. And ever since like episode 3 and 4, it's just been an episode comes out, and then it's delayed for a few weeks, and then an episode comes out again, and then it's delayed again. And if you look at this release schedule here, the latest episode just came out earlier today, episode 6, okay? And next week, we're going to have another episode. So at first glance, everything seems fine. But basically, if you look closely, there is a gap between episode 7 and 8, a week gap, which, once again, showcasing a rocky production. And then we have, another week, and then currently, if you go into the Japanese Zom 100, they don't even have it listed for when episode 10 is actually going to air. But obviously, many people that are kind of been watching Zom 100 are aware of this information. So let's get into the spicy news that really kind of amps up the issues and showcases what's really going on here. So this was a post that came out basically yesterday, kind of talking about how Shaft is no longer being credited in Zom 100, because they were being credited, but they're no longer being credited and all that, because as you can see here, this is what was supposed to appear, but they're no longer being credited. So it pretty much showcases that Shaft has kind of walked off the project, and like they no longer want to be associated with Zom 100 because they probably have other things to do. I mean, Shaft is obviously a big studio. We know that they're working on Madoka Magica's movie. They have a lot of things that they probably got to do, and the fact that they have potentially removed themselves from the credits says enough that they probably just want to distance themselves, because anyone that has been watching this show knows it has been just a travesty. And this goes into what I talked about at the beginning of this video, is that there has been a constant trend. There has been a trend of these events happening continuously with anime. Let's just mention a few. Nier Automata. This year, Nier Automata may have finally had its last few episodes air like a few weeks back, but it does not change the fact that it literally took months and a whole season just to finish airing it. It was bad. Like, anyone that looked at Nier Automata's anime release knows just that was not normal how that was handled. And I've talked about that. I made videos on it. I've talked about the Misfit Demon Academy as well. I've talked about Aniplex and all that, and how there's a lot of anime that have just been continuously getting delayed. Like, they'll have a few episodes come out, and then they get delayed a few weeks, and then they have more episodes, and then another episode comes out, and because of just how many delays they are, it has a domino effect to where the final episodes can't air because the broadcasting slots are gone, because other anime is supposed to air on those dates because a new anime season. And what's obviously happened with Zom 100 at this point, and it doesn't matter whatever you want to say, Zom 100 is creeping closer and closer into the realm of being exactly like Nier Automata and Uncle from Another World. If anyone remembers those series and how that was done, it is creeping into that territory already because of just all these delays. And as I said, systematically, this is something that's just been happening more and more, especially this year with shows. And once again, we could chalk this up to maybe COVID. We could chalk this up to maybe just, maybe the producers or whatever. There's meddling with the producers or the higher-ups, the committee. Who knows? We don't really know the full picture. But it's becoming more common to see this as of late, where anime is churned out on like a conveyor belt, and they're not ready. They're not ready to be put out. They're half finished. It's kind of like what's going on in the game industry with AAA titles. You have a game that comes out that might as well be a glorified early access, but, they say they're finished. That's pretty much what seems to be going on with anime, at least this year. I mean, it's always been a problem. Like, there's always been production issues underneath the hood for years, for decades. But it's becoming more noticeable, easily more noticeable, especially with just how things are being handled in recent times. And Zom 100 has had some bad stuff going on with it, and I don't know the full extent of it, but once again, this is really damning, the fact that Shaft is backing out of the production. They don't want to be associated with it at all. Also, shout-outs to Einkrad News for linking me to this post. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. But, basically, though, I legit think that as this has obviously happened, probably in a few weeks' time, we're probably going to get an announcement that it's going to be indefinitely delayed, and we're going to have to wait for episode 10 to come out. And then it's going to go through that whole procedure of re-airing from episode 1 until, episode 10 is ready or something. So, yeah, if you're a Zom 100 fan, probably get ready for some indefinite delays. That's all I'm going to say. It's probably going to happen. Now, there's a chance it couldn't, but like I said, there's some damning stuff that's been happening continuously with the show, with all these delays. It's not normal, and if we're going on what we've already just seen from this year alone with Nier, we can assume it's going to happen again. But clearly, this isn't, an Aniplex project. Like, I mean, you look, they're not even associated with it. So, it's not Aniplex this time. So, once again, it just seems like a lot of companies are really struggling in Japan right now. It could be because they're just trying to do too much. Animators are stretched thin. Maybe there's an animator shortage. Who really knows? But, yeah. Anyways, I wanted to bring this news. I wanted to talk about it because I do like Zom 100. I think the anime is really good. Like, I'm up to date with it. It's great. But does not change the fact of what's going on underneath it. And it does need to be talked about. But okay, be safe, stay healthy, Chibi out.